Hey everyone, Derpy here, back with another Battle Pirates video. This is Kixeye Math 101, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the Tier 10 thrower, comparing that one with the Tier 9 thrower. And of course, these are both heavy weapons, so this is very relevant when deciding what to equip on your raid fleet. Starting out, the tagline, the takeaway, what I'm going to show to you in this very brief video is that the Tier 10 weapon is much better in terms of damage per second, but has a significantly lower initial damage compared to the Tier 9 thrower. This means that some people who want to kill the turrets really quickly and kill them all in one initial shot are going to want to equip the Tier 9 weapon rather than the Tier 10 weapon. And to explain this to you, I need to talk about a few things. First of all, what I'm doing is I'm just comparing the stats on these actual throwers as well as a reload bonus for a pretty standard Reclaimer build. I'm not worrying about any of the multipliers in terms of building damage or radioactive damage that is on my Reclaimer fleet. I'm just worrying about the stats on the reload and the damage that's already built into these weapons. Of course, these are siege targets, so I can just look at only the building damage and ignore this regular damage completely. Everything is a building in here. And to calculate damage per second, if we already know damage, we then have to figure out the reload time. The formula for reload time is base reload times 1 minus the benefit from the rank, and that always comes out to be, with a max legendary ranked ship, to be 75%. So you can have 8 seconds times 0.25, or 8 divided by 4, would be 2 seconds, which is actually what's done right here if we, well, that's not actually quite what's done there. 2-second reload time. But we also have reload bonuses on the Reclaimer of plus 129% radioactive reload. To calculate that, you do 1 plus reload bonus, and that's in the denominator of this fraction. And that's not quite complicated enough. This weapon also has a salvo of 10, and how a salvo works is you shoot one shot, and then 0.2 seconds later, which is the minimum reload time possible in the game, at least as far as I know, it's basically the minimum tick speed of the game. 0.2 seconds later, it fires another shot. So there is a delay, and it spreads out the damage, those 10 projectiles, or a bit more if you actually increase the salvo or multi-shot. It works in a similar fashion. It increases the actual total cycle time for you to fire all 10 of your shots. You take the salvo number, subtract 1, and multiply that by 0.2 seconds. Doing this math, our reload time comes out to be rounded 2.67 seconds. Actually, that's a complete cycle time. Reload time plus time to actually shoot through the salvos comes out to be 2.67 seconds, and that's the time that damage is spread across. So we can do 7,000 divided by 2.67 and get 2600 damage per second total from the Torch Wielder Heavy Thrower. If we look at the equivalent special, the Tier 9 one, and of course there's a Tier 9.5, but that's ballistic, so I'm not going to worry about that because it's going to do way less because the Reclaimer has way more radioactive bonuses than ballistic bonuses. If we look at the Tier 9 thrower, this one actually has a special stat where it doesn't benefit from reload or rank bonuses. And it has no salvo listed, so it's just a salvo of 1. We don't have to worry about this 0.2 number here. It's not going to apply. And this has a reload time of 8 seconds, and again, does not benefit from rank or reload bonuses. And it does 4,200 damage. Damage per second, we take the damage divided by the time to reload, and we get 525 damage per second. So the new one is much better in terms of sustained damage per second. The old one is much worse, but the benefit that I want you to realize using the old one is, and I stole this table down at the bottom here from Hefe from Battle Pirates Crib, the old one does 4,200 damage, and that times whatever your building damage multiplier and your radioactive damage multiplier on your ship is. It does that damage very quickly. I've also noted their projectile speed right here. So the old one does a lot of damage, an initial alpha strike, really high amount of damage that might be enough to kill a building more quickly in just one shot, depending on the final health of the targets. It does that one, and that's the only damage it does for the next 8 seconds. This graph only goes up to 1.8. And 1.8 seconds is just about the entire time for the Torch Wielder Heavy Thrower to shoot. So it starts shooting, it does 1/10 of its damage here, another 10th here, another 10th here, another 10th here, all the way up here to 1.8, and then it will go into its actual reload time once we get there. What you can see is under a second, the tier 9 weapon does more damage. And it might actually be a little bit longer than that because the time to actually hit the target with projectile speed. But for a very short period of time, it's better to use the old weapon than the new one. Now let's answer the question, what does this mean for my build? Probably nothing. I'm not planning on changing anything. I know TSM was actually, I believe, planning on using the tier 9 radioactive weapon. So if you happen to watch his live stream, notice a few interesting things going on there, that might be what's happening. I just wanted to do a quick video just explaining a little bit about the math on these two weapons, mostly so that I have it on record and documented somewhere, and other people who want to calculate the damage per second based off a few different weapons are able to do that. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.